This is a tutorial for flow-based programming, in particular subnets in flow-based programming. If you've seen the GitHub tutorial, step 1 was to create a simple network to read a file and display accepted lines, or display all lines in fact. That's since evolved, by the time we get to step 12, to having a filter to choose the first letter of each line and decide whether to accept it and display it, or to reject it and discard it. So without further ado, let's actually go and do that. So we add a starts with text component, process, in other words, starts with, I hit caps lock, that's not a great idea, starts with text. We'll pick the component subnet class from the DrawFBP library, just like navigating down the file system, and we'll choose starts with, OK to that. And now we've got a number of ports which we need to provide values for. So we'll go from read file into starts with text. Got the highlighting, drop it. Now read file is happy, its out port is connected, and we've got a starts with here. It's going to have an out port here. We'll connect that up to show text, highlight the border, drop it. Now show text is happy, but out is not recognized in starts with, so we edit the upstream port name. That's the one opposite end of the arrow, and that's happy. And now there's a test to do. We're looking at a file called Garden Tools, so that lives in my folder down here, FBP. This is the one. Okay, so we're looking for P tools. We want a lawnmower or a trimmer or something. So we're going to add an initial information packet. Information packets are traveling down these lines all the time, so an initial IP just gives one value at the beginning of this process when it runs. So we want a P there, pick that border, drop it on this border, let go, and we've now got to change the name from in, which we've already got one of, to test, which we haven't got one of. There we go. So 3 out of 4, and finally go back to creating a process. That's got to be discard, which is a routing process. Okay. So when we choose the class, that's a reminder to navigate down to the component subfolders and go for routing, pick up discard. OK to that. Discard port needs to be connected, so let's do that. We just draw a line out from here, drop it down to here, discard routing. But now the out, although discard is happy, starts with is still not quite happy. We have to edit the upstream port name again, and REJ for reject is the name we wanted. And there we are, starts with is happy. So we can now excise those two processes using an enclosure. So what we've got to do here is to drag the box to include both starts with and discard, excise, and then we jump into another diagram. Now we've got to rename some external port names. So in, we want to be in our new component. ACC, we want to be out, because we want to make this more generic so we can use it elsewhere, and whether we're accepting or rejecting internally is less relevant to somebody using something that's just looking like one box. So now we save that, and we're going to use filter starts with OK. Create that new file and now give a description. Filter for starts with text. Again, just a reminder. OK. Can now save that. And now generate network. It's a little part of the network that comes in the middle of our bigger network. Use the suggested name so that the Java name has the same name as the DRW diagram name. Save as that. Exit. Now we've got to compile it. We're selected by date, sort by date, so it's at the top of the list. Makes life a bit easier. It's compiling. Here comes a message. It's in the right place for the subclass, for the subnet. We can now delete the enclosure. Yes. We'll just edit the process name. Filter for starts with text. OK. And now let's choose that component or subnet class. Filter starts with all 3 ports. Check out. That's good to go. So now I'm going to do save as subnet ready. So use suggested name but change begin to ready. That's our main network now. Create new file. Yes. Generate Java network. Public host subnet ready. Extend network. Save as. Suggested name subnet ready. OK. New file. Yes. Exit. Compile. Select it. Sorted by date. It's now newer than the filter. It's compiling, and there's the one to run. Here's what we're expecting to see: lawnmower and a trimmer. We'll run the code. Subnet ready. OK. It's running, and there we have it. Now runtime was less than 2 seconds. It's got a rather cryptic summary of what was in there. But that, in a nutshell, is step 12 of the tutorial, which you there have the reference for. So I hope that was helpful. And thank you very much for watching and spending some